In the future, when you look at writing developing, we've spoken of writing in the last decade as tackling themes of dislocation, especially in terms of globalization spreading across the world.
Yeah.
So the dislocation of the immigrant, the
Yes.
dislocation
Yes.
of the traveler,
Yes.
the dislocation, especially of the erstwhile colonial countries,
Yes.
of people there and their own sense of self-worth. In a sense.
Yes, yes.
There is also, especially in your novels, I sense at least, the idea of the dislocation of people who didn't leave.
Yes.
The thought of dislocation as always
Yes.
people who left
Yes.
somewhere,
Yes.
or something
Yes.
went away.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there's also dislocation of
Yes.
people who didn't leave.
Yes.
Is that an enduring theme and will be an enduring theme in the years to come?
Well, I'm very interested to hear you say that, because I hadn't really thought about it from that perspective, but I think that you're right. I think that somebody like Mara Matsui has never been anywhere.
That's right.
She's remained in Botswana, and she often talks about the changes that happen around her. And yes, that is a form of dislocation. If you find your country changing dramatically, and you're still located in a country which may not be there anymore, then that constitutes a dislocation. Yes. Oh, well, that's wonderful to hear that I've been writing about dislocation as well. I feel more up to date now.
As we come to the end of this interview, I have a last couple of questions.
Yes.
One of which is, in some senses, you're the, I'm a Bengali. We have this word for a gentleman, which is Bhadralok. The last of the genteel authors, in a sense. Is writing as a genteel craft, or at least the attempt to be genteel in writing, and yet make very powerful, very sonorous statements, is that a dying art? Must we now? It seems to be all about writing punchy,
yes.
Some would say even vulgar,
yes.
Themes and tackling it full on. I mean, authors who
yes.
do that say, well, I'm not going to,
yep.
beat around the bush. I'm
yeah.
just going to go right in and slam it in. So is the genteel craft of writing a dying art in a sense?
Well, I think it's under pressure. I think we're all encouraged to be more in your face and gritty. Yes. I can't do that with a straight face. If I tried to be gritty social realist, it wouldn't quite work. So I think that I'm aware of the fact that I'm perhaps out of step with a lot, but that doesn't worry me. That really doesn't worry me. I suppose if I felt that nobody was going to read my books as a result, then I might be a little bit concerned. But
yes.
there seems to be
no worry about that.
There are an awful lot of people
yes.
who are
reading
themselves
the
out of step. I
yes.
think most of the people out of step are perhaps in step. Whatever that means. I don't think it means anything, but I thought I'd say it.
That's exactly the sort of understated humor that makes your writing work. That's exactly it. In person, that's the humor that works.
Well, thank you.
Do you ever feel that you ought to write a sort of intense book that will, bring the booker? A series of them which will bring the Nobel?
Oh, I don't know. I think I don't know whether I could. I mean, I do like to feel that I'm writing serious books as well, in the sense
of course you are, yes,
that I think you can make serious points.
Absolutely.
In a
but
light
juries
way.
don't seem to see that.
No, they don't. No. But there we are. I wrote a standalone novel called Lars Orchestra Saved the World, which was set in the Second World War in Suffolk, which I suppose was at the more serious end of the spectrum.
Yes.
And I will write more serious books.
I want to end by asking you, I love the character Bertie more than any other character in your books. Yes, indeed, poor little Bertie. In some senses, that's the state of many, many children. It was mine, certainly, growing up in Calcutta,
yeah.
When I couldn't do many of the things that children want to do. And it is your subtle way of talking about our education system, parenthood, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Will that change at all? Will it get more aggressive? Will parenthood and education get more aggressive in the next decade?
I think there are more of these parents who are really more personal trainers than parents.
Yes.
They seem to be growing in number, and the pressure on small children is increasing. Which I think
From
is a
trainers,
great,
they become managers, hoping that they'll be successful children.
Yeah,
they'll be,
that's right. And the children need time just to play
yes.
and do nothing and not be organised, not have their day organised.
That's right.
So poor little Bertie has his day organised with all his extra lessons and things like. And I feel very sorry for him. All he wants to do is to be a little boy, and alas, it's not proving possible.
Your final word, in the next decade, what will change in writing and what will remain the same?
I don't know whether...
Let me rephrase that then. What will change in publishing and what will remain the same?
I think we will still have publishers who want to publish good books and want to publish those books because they believe in them. I think those publishers still somehow survive these great corporate pressures, and you still find them in publishing. And so those people will still be there. Round the periphery, everybody will all be very talking corporate language, and there'll all be accountants, etc. But there will still be some genuine publishers, I hope.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much indeed. I enjoyed that. Thank you.